Hello guys, my name is Junior and this is the Ambitious Thinkers. Today we got a special guest. Today we got Ashley. How you doing, Ashley?
Hey there, how's it going?
Okay, great. Ashley, would you mind kindly introduce yourself to everyone that's going to be watching this?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ashley Ahmadzai, and I am a
Mm-hmm,
clairvoyant life coach for high-performing female entrepreneurs and professionals.
mm-hmm.
And I specialize in helping women release the trapped energies, the suppressed emotions, and the limiting
Mm-hmm.
beliefs that keep us playing small in life and in business.
Okay. Ashley, would you mind take us back all the way from beginning? Where did it all begin?
Yeah, where did it all begin? So right? Every single moment has brought us up to this one right here and where to start.
Mm-hmm,
So I will say that I grew up with a lot of trauma, being taken away
mm-hmm.
by social services, being abandoned by my parents, left on a doorstep when I was still in high school, suicide in the family. So that's where it all started for me. And I carried a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of deep
Yeah.
woundings around rejection and abandonment and shame, being shamed a lot, shamed to the fact that I wasn't even welcomed or worthy of being loved by my own family. So I took that pain
Wow.
and that chaos into college. And
Mm-hmm.
in college, I wanted leadership. I wanted mentorship. I wanted to be guided. And I felt like I was just like grasping at air. I didn't have like that mentor leadership as I
Mm-hmm.
was going through college. So it was all sorts of crazy. And one of the ways I got through my stress was through running. I love running. I've always been a runner, especially, taking a full course load at college. It was the one thing I could do to kind of stabilize my moods and really lift my energy up. And I decided to run a half marathon. And I should have trained for it. Tip to you, never run a marathon unless you have trained for it. But long story
Yeah.
short, I didn't. I got so stressed out with school. But I decided to run it anyways. And it wasn't the smartest decision because 10 feet before the finish line, I collapsed, went into cardiac
Wow.
arrest, and I died on the spot. So thank the good Lord that I was right before the finish line because the paramedics were waiting there. And
Mm-hmm.
so they put me on the gurney and I was actually resuscitated in the ambulance. They had my shirt cut up
Wow.
open and everything with little shock pads. Um, so I was in the hospital for 3 days and they didn't know what was wrong with me. At the time, I was a perfectly healthy 23-year-old um, who had just gone to cardiac arrest. And although,
Mm.
cool story, although I didn't finish alive, across the finish line, I did finish on the gurney. So I got a medal.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
the paramedics were so amazing. They brought the medal to me in the hospital and they had told me what happened. And they said that I had been without oxygen for over 3 minutes. And if I had gone any longer, I could have potentially been brain dead and had that damage. And I realized in that moment, my life needed to change. Like I came
Yeah.
back, I was resuscitated for a reason, and I have a purpose. And I really wanted to explore what that looked like, but I could not do it with the current trajectory of where I was going. And I realized that all of the pain from my past that I was holding
Yeah.
on to was like holding on to my own poison. All of the chaos that I was creating in my life in college was not serving me at all. And so
Yeah.
in that moment, I realized, wow, everything needs to change. And so
Mm.
I really leaned into my faith and, praying, Holy God, Creator, Source, whatever is meant for me, please let it show up. I'm ready to see things differently. I'm like on my knees. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what that next step looks like. So fast forward, I was introduced to a network marketing company, Arbonne International, and these amazing women, they taught me about leadership and empowerment. And
Mm-hmm.
they looked me in my eye and told me that they loved me and they believed in me and I could do anything. And I'd never experienced that before. And so I started to adopt those behaviors. And then once I had the tools and I had the motivation to change, my life just went in a completely different direction. And I became so determined to be a leader and a coach and supporting other women through, to be the role model that I needed at every age for them. Because I knew that there were women in quiet desperation going through pain, abandonment, rejection, these awful things. They're not awful, they're teachable moments, right? And I
Yeah.
wanted to show up for them. And so that's kind of how it started in the snowball with my business. And now, after 8 years of coaching entrepreneurs and professionals, that's what I do today, and specialize in, releasing the suppressed energy and the trapped emotions, because that is what keeps us blocked. That is what
Mm-hmm.
keeps us stuck. It's not the physical. It's the fear of our greatness, what we can do. And so, yes, it's a beautiful journey up until this point, for sure.
So what are the biggest things you see holding back a lot of your clients?
Fear is a big one. Fear of failure, for sure,
Mm-hmm.
is people want to get on stages and they want to share their message, what they are too intuitively aligned with the world.
Mm-hmm.
But what if people judge them? What if they
Yeah.
trip and fall on the stage? What if they suddenly can't talk? And that fear is an
Mm-hmm.
illusion. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And we have two
Mm-hmm.
options when we come across fear. We can
Mm-hmm.
forget everything and run, or we can face everything and rise. And that's the
Yeah.
sweet part, when we choose to face our fear and realize it's an illusion anyways, and it's actually just something that our brain is using to protect us. So, because that next level requires a next level version of us as well. So fear is
Okay.
huge.
So how do you actually overcome this fear obstacle?
It's very dependent on each person. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times, beliefs are formed in many different ways, but they're the two main ways that I like to work with is through child-based programming. So what we have been told, experienced, or witnessed as a child, because our brain develops between in the womb to about age 5, people even say up until age 8, where our subconscious mind is really being formed. And so we don't have our own opinions and thoughts yet. We're just mirroring and observing everybody else. So a lot of our fear comes from the programming of what we were told by our parents, our grandparents, or what we witnessed and observed in their behavior. So that's one way, child-based programming. Another one is evidence-based adult experiences. So if someone's going through a breakup or something and they are I keep attracting these lame people over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next time they want to get in a relationship, they're well, this person is, I don't even want to, be with that person or talk to that person because he's probably going to be a loser, right? So that fear comes from an adult-based experience. So it's important to know how they're formed and where they come from. This client was actually a couple years ago, but she always stuck with me. So I'll use this as an thing. She could drive, but anytime that she was under a bridge, she'd get scared, or if she's on a
Mm-hmm.
bridge, she would get scared. She's had a lot of fear. And so what we did is we went back in time to say, hey, what is the earliest time that you had this fear in your life and in your
Mm-hmm.
experience? And so this is where energy work comes in, meditation, breath work, but also visualization to heal the younger aspect of ourselves. And so we can go
Yeah.
very far with the limiting beliefs that we do have, but we can do
Yeah.
so much more if we choose to remove them, because then we're no longer available for them to be anchors. That's kind of what it is. Imagine a heavy anchor and you're trying to move forward, but it keeps you from going at your full momentum. It isn't until we let
Mm-hmm.
it go that we are free. So, and what you're going to discover is we have so many limiting beliefs. And as we
Yeah.
continue to grow and up level, we're going to see, oh, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. We're never done. It's just a new level and a new experience to overcome, a new limiting belief to overcome.
So where do you actually go for inspiration to help elevate your mindset to know and believe that you can achieve greatness?
So step 1 is going within. That is what I love. And I'm so passionate about teaching other people, because everything that we need is already within us and it's inside of us. Which is why if we go to outside sources, we can feel in our heart and in our nervous system what is true for us. We'll hear a quote and we're like, oh, that felt so good, right? Or we'll hear something else and we'll say, whatever, because our heart already knows what the truth is. So number 1, I would say, is to go within. And there's meditation or breath work or simply journaling to really find, what is our inner peace, rather than looking out there and say, hey, what does inner peace look like? ask it for ourselves. But I am definitely an avid reader. I love podcasts. I
Mm-hmm.
love networking meetings where I can connect with leaders. So I'm very, very connected in that way to learn from others as well. But it is most important to check in with ourselves to see, hey, what is
Oh,
our truth?
mhm. So you got this quote on your website, go big and expect miracle always, always. Where did this came from? I'm intrigued to know where did it came from.
Thank you for asking that question because I love that tagline. The things that I have been able to create in my life are
Mm-hmm.
astronomical. And from growing up, I was literally told, you're not smart enough to do advanced placement classes. You're not pretty enough to do modeling because my
Mm-hmm.
sister was pretty enough. So she got to do modeling. You know, I could do the acting. And it was constantly like I wasn't enough. Nothing was ever enough for my family. And so the go big is you have permission to go big with whatever it is that you want. Whether somebody's
Yeah.
opinion agrees with you or not, it is irrelevant. We know what our big is. And so full permission to go big. That's number one. Number two is to ditch the limiting beliefs, ditch the
Mm-hmm.
doubt and the doubt of what if it doesn't happen, the fear of failure of what if it doesn't happen, you know, what if I fall on my face, release all of that and instead expect miracles. When we expect miracles and we're truly in alignment with that phrase, it tells us that we're an energetic match to receive more. It tells us that we are an energetic match, that we trust the universe, holy God, creator, source, so fully that we know those great waves of abundance are going to come to us. And then always, so go big, expect miracles always. So it might come in the form of a friend speaking life and guidance over you. It might come through a refund check that you get from the bank. It may come from all these different ways. We never want to be just like this. We're manifesting, we're calling in miracles. It will be something that you wouldn't even expect. So it's going to come in all of the ways, and know that it is available to you always. So go big,
Mm-hmm.
expect miracles always, always.
So what have been like your greatest accomplishment, you would say?
In life or in business?
In life? Let's start with life first, then we go into business. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, in life, I would say my daughter. My daughter Presley is
Mm,
5 years old, and she
yeah.
is my greatest accomplishment, my gift to the world, and she is the gift right back to me. And again, having a lot of trauma growing up and abandonment and a lot of hurt around family, I was
Mm,
terrified to be a mom because I knew how I felt as a child, and I was
yeah.
like, I don't think that I'm equipped to be a mother. But I am such an amazing mother, and I have used every one of those painful experiences and transmuted that into love. And to see my
Mm-hmm.
daughter wild and free and empowered and confident, that is my accomplishment, and that is my gift to the world, to be able to set her up for success. So our continuing generations have leadership, so we can be set on the right track. You know how crazy and chaotic 2020 has been. And by the time, you know, Presley is our age, you betcha she's going to be an advocate and the leader, shifting the paradigm of what our world, the trajectory is. And so I would say she is my greatest accomplishment for life, in life.
Okay, great. So what about like within business?
In business, actually, everything is coming to fruition right now. Um, I am a requested coach for many masterminds. So I co-teach for many. I co-teach for a mastermind. I'm a guest speaker for many. I have a best-selling book that's actually coming out in 2 weeks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's really, really exciting. I was just nominated for the most influential woman of Sierra Nevada. So that is
Wow.
huge to be an award-winning business coach. I was officially just nominated. The voting is open right now. So if anyone watching this
Mm-hmm.
wants to vote, you can. We'll include that link too.
Yeah, with
So
the
that's
link
actually,
below.
I would say, and then also yeah, perfect. Um, and so that, and then like my income has just grown and grown and grown. My biggest income that I've ever wanted, I've hit
Mm-hmm.
twice this year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to set bigger goals for myself. Who do I need to
Mm-hmm.
become? in order to receive that and make space for that and be the leader that is needed, for the clients to achieve that. So I guess at the end of the day, it's the growth. That is my greatest accomplishment. I'm growing at a very, very rapid pace and achieving things that I thought was going to take me a lot longer to achieve, but it's happening right now.
Wow, great. So who do you actually look up to for like inspiration? Do you look up to anyone for like inspiration?
I do. So I definitely, I don't want to say like everything is really linear when I say this, but
Mm-hmm.
my daughter is number one. She is my inspiration to remind me to play and be present and truly enjoy life and find
Yeah.
joy within the moments, the in between moments. My clients, I really, really, I look up to my clients because I see them in their wholeness and their potential and everything that they bring to the table. And I attract the most amazing clients ever. They're so powerful. And so as they grow, I grow. I'm so grateful for that. And then other mentors is definitely like Amanda Francis. I love Amanda Francis. I love Robin Sharma. There are many leaders, Gabrielle Bernstein for sure, Tony Robbins, Shanda Sumter, these women and men who I look up to, and they're showing us what is possible. So I kind of, not just one person, I kind of take them all and see every opportunity to meet somebody new and to spend time with somebody I do know is
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity for mentorship, for them to mentor me and likewise.
So what are like few words you can recommend for someone looking to like help develop themselves to become a better person in a leadership position? Mm-hmm.
I would say read. Readers are leaders. And so I love Audible. I know a lot of times you get really busy and like sometimes I know for me it can be a challenge to sit down and read a book.
Yeah.
What I can do is I can listen to Audible when I'm going for a walk or when I'm working out or when I'm driving the car. So I would say read as much as you can because there's so much good information and people have really put their heart and soul into a book. And so it's digestible information, but it's also like the best of the best. There's that. And then also watch leaders, watch what they do, how they think, they walk, they talk, they act, and not just their pictures on Instagram, but watch them when they perform on stage. Listen to the language that they use. How do they hold themselves? That's something else. I used to like never really look anybody in the eye. If you could
Mm-hmm.
imagine, the way I grew up is you're supposed to be seen and not heard. But
Mm-hmm.
now I hold my shoulders high and I make eye contact and I hold space. And I learned that through modeling other people. So I would say definitely readers are leaders. So read books, Audible's great, and podcasts. And the other one is to watch people on YouTube, watch them perform, watch them live in conferences if we can go to conferences again, since we're in 2020. And then really model that and you will see your own growth in that space.
Great. So I want to ask you this question. What is the biggest risk you have ever taken?
Ooh, the biggest risk that I have ever
Yeah.
taken is it goes back to having my daughter, because I actually had this huge career break. I was so excited I was hired and certified as a flight attendant for private corporate jets. So my job was going to be flying around millionaires as basically like a professional server, sitting on the beach in these exotic locations, living the life, traveling the world and having an abundance of income and hanging out with the highest of the most financially successful people out there. That's what I was going to do. I had nothing holding me back in my town of Reno. And right before, I was already hired, but right before things were all supposed to go into action and we were getting started, it turns out that I was pregnant. And I could not be pregnant traveling across the globe. And I certainly couldn't raise the child while being away for months at a time because that's what the job would require. And so I had to make a choice. I could either give up my career that I had been so excited about and was everything I wanted, give it up and to, have a baby, which I wasn't ready for, with a guy that I barely knew, who didn't
Mm,
even live in the same state. I
mm,
could do that, or I could continue on the trajectory that I was on. And it was a really hard decision, honestly. But I'm so glad that obviously I decided to have my daughter, and her dad and I are no longer together. So I
mhm.
made that decision, not for him, but so I can be blessed with my sweet little angel today. But that was a huge risk, and it shook up a lot of things in my life too, but it was all worth
Mhm.
it.
So how did you overcome and made that decision?
A lot of prayer, actually. And it was really stressful. That's all I remember.
Wow.
So it's a blur. I remember the
Yeah.
the guy that when I had told him, the person who was like the owner of the Gulfstream, so the private jet, when I told him, I'm so sorry, I have to resign because I am pregnant.
Mhm.
He's like, what's wrong with you? Like,
Mm,
get an abortion. And that
mhm.
really hurt, to not be understood. And I understood where he was coming from because I had this huge career. And
Mhm.
after that, actually, after I made that decision to give up that career in honor of choosing my daughter instead, 6 months later, I left her dad and I became a single mom. And I was not in a good place financially because I had to invest everything I could in that relationship. So I went from all the way up here to all the way down here, and now it's right back up again. But it was one heck of a journey and a bit of a blur because it was
Wow.
pretty stressful.
Mm. So what did you learn over those time?
Mm, that I'm really good at rebuilding.
Mhm.
I'm very good at rebuilding, so it is safe for me to fail. It is safe for me to fall forward. Or to fail forward. It is safe for me to try new things and to take risks and to always follow my heart, because worst case scenario, I'm really good at rebuilding. And so I don't struggle with fear. I don't struggle with, I won't say that's totally true, but it's not something, because I think everybody struggles with it. It'll show up, but I know how to navigate it. And I think the number one thing that holds people back when it comes to fear is they're afraid, like, what if I can't get back up again? What if I fall into a sadness that I can't heal from? And I think it's really important and to remember, and this is what got me through, is that I'm really, really good at rebuilding. So no matter what
Mhm.
happens, I'm good.
Yeah. So what is one piece of advice you can give someone looking to get into like entrepreneurship or business to help them to have a higher chance to become successful and just continue to keep pushing and help them?
Definitely say find a community. Find a community where you are not the smartest person in the room. So
Mhm.
find a community of people who will lift you up, inspire you, encourage you to grow, and they're going to stretch you. You're the average of the 5
Mhm.
people that you spend the most time around. And so I really had to upgrade my circle based, on the conversations we were having and the goals we were setting and the aspirations that we had and the inspiration that we were calling from. Permission to upgrade your circle and get around people who are going to lift you up, just like I did with the Arbonne community, with the network marketing community. It was so amazing. And if it wasn't for them, I would not be where I am today. I literally grew up in the company and they taught me everything that I knew. And by default, that trickled into my daughter, because now
Mhm.
she's set up for success and she's been listening to podcasts since she was in the womb, which is really, really great. Um, so the community, for sure. Upgrade your friend circle. Read as much as you can. From quality books. Like, check out the best-selling books, but Robin Sharma, John Maxwell, Gabrielle Bernstein, Marianne Williamson. There's so many amazing, Brennan Burchard. There's so many amazing leaders. And then podcasts are really good too, especially like if you're looking for business. Um, James Wedmore, yeah, is another one who's really, really great to listen to. And then I guess the fifth one is modeling the leaders. Notice what you like, what stands out to you. And if you want that to be a part of your energy and your nervous system, then I would encourage you to embody that as well. And you're going to see people say, wow, when he walks into the room or she walks into the room, there's just something about her. There's something about
Yeah.
him. And what that is the energy that we bring. And a lot of times we can do that through
Mm-hmm.
modeling others.
Mm-hmm. So what is like one book you have read that contribute to your success, you would say?
There are many. Can I give
Mm-hmm.
you 3?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, there's so many. The one that has helped me in the beginning, the 2 books that like changed my life, and I
Mm-hmm.
cried because they are just so good. One of them is
Mm-hmm.
called On Fire by John O'Leary. So good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the 7 principles to ignite your life, I believe. But On Fire by John O'Leary. The 7 Decisions by Andy Andrews is so good. And I read that probably like 5 years ago, and I remember it just felt so good. A third one that's really helped me be a great leader, which I read recently, and it's appropriate for where I'm at currently in my business, is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And that's definitely a feminist book, but it's really encouraging women to stand up and advocate for what is right, and to not sit down, take a back seat because it's more comfortable, and it covers all topics that may seem radical. And so that is a leadership book, because I've read all the John Maxwell books, and I've done the leadership trainings, but what I'm most interested in is being a leader for our world, not just for my networking group, but for my world. And that means giving ourselves permission to speak up and find our
Yeah.
voice and be unshakable and unapologetic in what it is that we're offering, and what we have to say. And so Glennon Doyle Untamed was like, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. So just before we go, give us that one word of advice you would give to someone looking to go into entrepreneurship or business.
Okay, one piece of advice, I'm like, go big, expect miracles always. But I would say anytime you come up against a limiting belief, anytime somebody is going for their goal or their dream and something stops them, that invisible, the guilt, shame, fear, etc., I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. Why not you? Right? Like, oh, I want to be on that stage, but other people are better at it. Why not you? Or just simply, why not? Because that's an
Yeah.
illusion. So might as well investigate why it's an illusion. The other one is to ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Because when we get tangled up in the weeds in our mind, and we feel overwhelmed and consumed by everything that's going on in the world, when we
Yeah.
do that, again, that is an illusion, and all we have to do is see it differently. And if we send up that prayer and we ask ourselves, how can we see it differently? It's probably going to be a better way. Just like with a wheel, right? Like if someone is, back in the olden days, they're like dragging things on like a board or on a material. And then someone's like, hey, what if we just make 2 wheels? Or like 1 wheel, like a wheelbarrow, and then we can push it. It makes it easier. All you have to do is see it differently, and your whole life and business and experience and decisions can change. So why not you, and how can you see it differently?
Okay. Great piece of advice. Definitely, definitely. So if anyone want to reach out to you, how can they actually reach out to you? They want to work with you personally. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very active online, on Instagram, Facebook, and my name is Ashley Ahmadzai. I'm the only one there is. So as long as you get the last name right, you can find me. But you can
Yeah.
also find all of my information on ashleyahmadzai.com. Easy peasy, super simple. And yeah, Instagram and Facebook, definitely. And then if you want to set up a clarity call, which I would love to chat with you, anybody who is interested, you can access that on my website as well.
Okay, no worry, Ashley. And I'll add all the links to our website, Instagram. Do you got LinkedIn, Ashley?
I do not have LinkedIn yet, which is so crazy, because everyone's like, you got to get on LinkedIn. But I work full time, and all my business and clients come from social media. So eventually I'll get there when I hire my team enough to cover that for me. And then Twitter and all the things, but that's another thing. You got to keep focused on like your lane.
Yeah.
Otherwise we just get so scattered. But eventually I will be on LinkedIn.
Okay, no problem, great. So I'll add all the links down below. Yeah.